Welcome, welcome, welcome to Empowered Women in Business International Radio. I'm your host, Nicole Mosby Taylor, also known as Taylor K on the mic, and welcome. Oh my goodness, I've been on vacation for a little while and I've missed each and every one of you, but just know that I am so glad to be back. And so I know some people are watching and saying, well, who is EWBI? Empower Women in Business International is a sisterhood. We serve a sisterhood of women entrepreneurs and professionals who understand that individually you can do great things, but collectively we can forever change the world. Members of our movement experience a support system that allows them to celebrate their wins and share their struggles in a series of opportunities that enhance them personally and professionally. If that sounds like an organization that you would like to be a part of, you can check us out on the web at www.ewbiradio.org. Again, that is www.ewbiradio.org. Next up is our quote of the day. So, our quote of the day: life fulfilling work is never about money. When you feel true passion for something, you instinctively find ways to nurture it. So let me read that one more time. That was a mouthful. Life fulfilling work is never about money. When you feel true passion for something, you instinctively find ways to nurture it. By um, Ellen, I'm sorry, Eileen Fisher, by Eileen Fisher. So, life fulfilling work is never about money. When you feel true passion for something, you instinctively find ways to nurture it. So, in a second, you will meet our guest and understand why I chose that and how passionate she is about her work, and that you can tell that it's definitely not about a paycheck, but more about her fulfilling that passion that she has inside. So, without further ado, we're going to have our guest join us, Miss Blanca. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Yay! And so, Blanca, welcome to EWBI Radio Show. It's such a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much. It has been, I think, in the making. And so I'm so pleased to be with you.
Awesome. And we also have one of our viewers, Miss Daryl Wharton. She says, "Hi, beautiful." That's so true. Thank you so much. Thank you, Daryl, for tuning in this evening. So, Blanca, let's start off with a little bit about your history, about who you are and how you came to the United States. You want to
Definitely. Thank you.
share?
Yes. I am originally from El Salvador. El Salvador is a country in Central America. It's actually called Pulgarcito. It's the little thumb because it is so tiny, has 6 million people living in this small area. And I was adopted when I was 10 years old by a couple in Baltimore County, Reisterstown. So that's where I grew up, in Reisterstown. I was adopted along with my brother, who was younger. He is younger by 4 years. And so the arrangements were either adopt both or neither because they only have each other.
Wow, that's beautiful. Because so many times now you see where they actually split the children up. So that was amazing that you guys got to stay together. Was that a rule for El Salvador or?
I believe the attorney and the
Okay,
also the extenuating circumstances that we came from
right.
was really there was very little option. I do want to share a note of interest though. It was either a couple in Canada or a couple in the United States that was to
Wow,
adopt us, and
wow,
the couple in the United States adopted us.
wow. And you were only 10 years old when this happened. So that
Yes.
must have been traumatic in itself.
Yes. Well, it was traumatic in itself because this was a family who I never met before, and we didn't speak the same language. But also, it was so challenging and traumatic because I suffered so much trauma as a child. The
Mm.
abuse that we suffer both, the abuse that my brother and I both suffered independently, by the way. It wasn't until we were put up for adoption that we met each other. That's when I learned that I had a brother. It was,
Really?
yes. And so the circumstances that brought us here was because of the horrible history of being from home to home within family members, but abuse was rampant. I was abused by my own family members, physically, mentally, verbally, emotionally, and even sexually. It was a very traumatic experience. So I saw adoption, and I still see adoption as a bridge to actually being rescued and, and loved by a family who adopted me in their heart first and loved me, trained me, loved us. But we were really rescued. When we were adopted, we were rescued.
Wow. What a beautiful story you have, because coming from that traumatic experience, you hear sometimes people go into other traumatic experiences. So I'm glad that you guys were able to find some loving family who took you guys in and was able to help you. But I'm sure it must have been very difficult that you all spoke Spanish and they spoke English. How was that?
Yes. Well, we used the dictionary. We definitely gave that dictionary a run for its money. We would point, maybe I remember pointing to my stomach, and I can now think, was my parents thinking, does his stomach hurt, or is she hungry, or does she know, does what is going on? I can almost imagine, because we didn't speak each other's language, and so we were very dependent on how to communicate while
Hmm.
we were still learning ourselves to learn the new language. But they were so proactive. My family loved on me so much. We started summer school. We arrived in 1982 in May, and we were enrolled right away in summer school. And
Wow.
then we went right away to elementary school. Neither one of us ever failed school. They were so on top of us. They said, when you're in school, you're there to learn. And uh, my younger brother actually skipped a grade. He was so advanced. He skipped a grade. And we were so nurtured. That's not the case sometimes in many situations, even birth families. But I know that God has a plan. He's still working out that plan for each of us. Every listener can be encouraged that He has a plan, and that plan is good. And even though the circumstances that were so horrendous, it was like being almost put in the loving arms and shown what was the opposite. And sometimes we're shown the opposite for so long that we can grow bitter. And but we were really, again, we were rescued, and we were loved, and we were supported. And my parents are no longer alive, but I still remember the lessons and the love that they shared with me. And I'm so appreciative
Wow.
for both of them.
That's amazing. So, so you started off rough with this rough life, and then you were able to, join this great family, and now, where did all of this like community service, and you wanted to volunteer? That passion, did it come from seeing maybe the family who adopted you, involved, or how did that come about?
Well, as I mentioned to you when we spoke privately, I see it as my language skill of being bilingual. I see it as an outreach in order to be understood, in order to reach others, but also in order to appreciate others. I don't think that I would have done that if I wouldn't have learned this language, both languages. I actually forgot my Spanish altogether, and because English was the language to acquire, and so my passion comes from the teachers who invested in me, who encouraged me, who said, "Of course you can do it. Of course you can pass. Of course you can, apply to college. Of course you can do it." And my parents were giving me the same message. And so my passion to volunteer and to teach. I am a private small business owner. I have students that I teach reading and Spanish to, and so that derives from being invested in. That also derives from me. One day, and when I turned 20, I had just turned 26. Shortly after that, I said, I want to go back and visit my family. I had family that did not mistreat me, that loved me back in El Salvador. I had cousins, I had aunts, I had my mom's family that I could go back and visit. But I said, I can't go without speaking Spanish. And so I took over 15 months, and that's all that I did. I studied every day, took out library books, listened to it, found a radio station, even listened to the telenovelas, which is basically the soap operas in Spanish. But I just wasn't listening for the context. I was listening just to train the ear. And I tell my students, train the ear, repeat after me, then you'll read, and eventually you'll be writing. And that's really the way that we learned our language. So my passion comes from really being invested in, remembering that an adult, I relearned my own native tongue. I had lost it because I didn't use it. People would say, wait a moment, but your name is Blanca and you're Hispanic. How can you not? Why don't you speak Spanish? And I said, I lost it all. But like I said, I wanted to go back. And so, like you said, when you quote, if you find that you have a passion, you will take every opportunity. You will avail to everything that you have, not just in you, but what's externally, really, what's externally feeding you. And I went ahead and became bilingual enough to visit my family, to share what had been going on for over 16 years that I hadn't seen them. We kept in touch. It was an open adoption where you kept in touch, but we hadn't, I could not read and write. I was illiterate when I came to the United States, and became literate in English, became literate in Spanish, and now I give from what I have. I have the ability to speak two languages. So some of the people I've taught include real estate agents, people that work for nonprofits, students. So I've taught both. I've taught people from China. I've taught people from Ukraine English, and I've also taught children and adults Spanish. And I see it as you can self-promote by being bilingual. You can actually, get a promotion in your job if you are bilingual. And so I know that for me, it's always been because I was taught, I outreach. I outreach to be understood, and I understand because I appreciate.
I like that. Say that one more time.
I teach. I teach to do outreach. I outreach to be understood, and I understand to appreciate.
Wow, that's deep. That's amazing. So I'm glad you answered my next question, because I was going to ask you, what is the importance of being a bilingual professional? So many schools now teach a different language. I know all three of my daughters had that opportunity through high school to actually learn another language, and I definitely see where that can be benefiting to them. Now, so my children went to a school where they promoted it, but I understand that your son had a really bad experience with trying to speak Spanish at one point. You want to share with us about that?
Definitely. I have three sons. One of them has special needs, was born at 1 pound. So he's a miracle child. All of us here that are breathing and walking and understanding and having the opportunity to even to be able to comprehend. But he has some delays. And so there's already not delays are not deficiencies in the person. Delays just means that you'll be able to do it at a later time. And I have an older son who is an honor student. He's at Morgenthaler High School, doing wonderful, straight A student, honors. And he, 10 years ago, went to a school and was told, we don't speak anything but English in this school. And he came home, he said, Mom, we can't speak Spanish. And I said, well, maybe not in the school, but at home, yes. And so he was telling me how he was kind of like, take something takes the air out of you. He was so discouraged. And I said to him, remember, we live in a multicultural, multilingual, multi-talented, multifaceted country. Look at mommy. I came from El Salvador. You were born here. Look at daddy. He was born in Peru, in South America. Two different cultures. Two Hispanics married. We have you. And I said, that's the nucleus of families. So I told him, we're going to speak at home. We're going to learn at home. And I said, I always tell my children, even now, as I tell myself, not when someone says don't do it, but they in themselves may not even, they may not understand. Again, going back to understand, they may not understand the value that someone has when they have another skill. If you're a good typer, a typist, if you're a good typist, excuse me, if you type well, you're going to be great in the court. Those transcriptionists, and that's a skill. The same with language. If you learn how to translate or interpret simultaneously or write a book, or somebody wants you to translate their book, by the way, 2 people have asked me to translate their books, or people have asked me to translate materials for their nonprofit. They want to do an outreach. So I tell my children, that skill that you have and that ability you have may be something that someone does not understand the impact and the value of it. And so don't squash it, use it.
Right. So I think, did you share with me that he was actually being bullied though, and told that he could not use that language in school?
A staff member did say that in this country, her words were, in this country, we speak English. That to me is a challenge. It is some people might see that as a setback, and it is very disheartening. See, a teacher is like a mom, and a mom is a teacher. We're the first teacher that they saw. Your
Right.
children saw you first. They were taught by you first. And so that, what happened, taught us and taught him that in the world that we live in, you are going to be challenged. Your skill is probably going to be, I'm not saying that it's envious, but some people are envious of a skill. Some people do not understand the skill, and some people don't appreciate the skill. So it happened once. It affected him, though, much deeper than the moment. For that short moment that she took, it affected him to the way that it was going to shut him down. And I told him, don't let anybody squash your ability. Use it.
That's right.
Mhm,
That's right.
mhm.
So, and he's getting straight A's now.
He's a
So
straight A student.
that's amazing.
Yes.
So we talked a little bit about your past, and let's talk a little bit about what is your why? What drives you to to start your business and to keep it going? What is your why?
Well, my why really is, first, I'm a Christian. I'm a wife and I'm a mom, in that order. Um, I know we live in a world that is often uh, even categorized. It's not good, it's bad, it's indifferent, it's cold. But we are the world. We are the people that live here. We're the managers, we're the administrators of this world. And so for me, my why is, if God has allowed me to speak not just one language, 2 languages, God has allowed me to see to have 3 sons, that what an opportunity to affect and impact the world with what I have. So my why is the time and the talent and the treasures that I have. The time is my life. The talent is my being bilingual. And my treasures are my children. Those are my inheritance, that I invest in everything that I can to make sure that my time and my talent and my treasure are supported. I I once again want to repeat, and I feel that I should, because the circumstances that brought me here, that pain that brought me here, it of being such a, I mean, I was the scrawniest little person you ever met, but I was also broken inside. And my why
Mm.
is, when you're rescued, when you're loved, God tells us that we've been adopted into the Son. When I read that, I focus on, how could I not use, how could I not give, and how could I not impact with everything I've been given?
Mm. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, so we understand your why. At what point did you realize the need for, for you to start your own business?
Well, like I mentioned to you, my son, he was born at 1 pound. He was born 4 months earlier than expected. I was taking childcare courses then. I wanted to open up a bilingual daycare. I thought, what a great way to raise my children in a bilingual daycare. And my son was born way much earlier than anybody expected. He survived. He's doing well. There's some challenges, but that's when I decided back 14 years ago, 2007, I wanted to open a bilingual education center where I could give opportunity for moms to be employees and have their own babies there, to
Mm,
give employment opportunities, maybe to some young people that could be interning, give an opportunity for the children who the moms would be employees, have that time of bonding and learning. But then, fourth, to give them a language that they could use. So that was my goal. Open up a daycare that can provide employment. Open up a daycare that can support that bond between the child. Open up the daycare to give young people an opportunity to intern and learn. And fourth, to give them two languages. And
mm,
I believe that will be realized. I know I've been different and one for people, including you, including others in the really just last couple of months who have encouraged me. Blanca, you have a skill, you have a
mm.
passion, you have a purpose. And guess what? I think that you and a lot of people have had the same idea. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this year. I'm a Vista. I'm an AmeriCorps Vista. So I am a volunteer in service to America, to a nonprofit. I do the recruitment for tutors. And that's not an easy job. But it's also, I'm asking people to invest time to tutor other children in reading and math. And so I'm taking this year, and yes, it doesn't pay well. It pays a stipend, it doesn't pay as well, but it gives me a year to also plan. And perhaps in the next year, I can open up a multilingual uh, education center that, again, gives employment to moms, creates a bond with those children that they can take care of right in their own center, gives opportunity to youth to intern with us and learn. And fourth, wouldn't it be wonderful to have children be bilingual by the age of 5?
Oh, that would be amazing.
It's They would be prepared for school and beyond. And so that four core, I call it my four core, has not changed in 14 years.
Wow. Well, Lala Arthur, hey Lala, she says that's awesome. She said that's awesome. And I believe so too. It's so important for us to, create that strong foundation for our youth, and then they have an easier, flight as they
Yes.
matriculate through life. So that is definitely amazing. Um, when you turned 26, you mentioned that you relearned the language. And so, did you find that you had any difficulties with going back home and being able to speak it, or were you fluent again to be able to speak to your family and friends?
I was fluent enough. I was fluent enough to go, fluent enough to share, and I became even more fluent. I definitely could carry a conversation. It was beyond, hola, ¿cómo está? Estoy bien. Okay, those are the basics, yes. And we start out with those, but I was able to share with them what had been happening since I had left, how I grew up, how my parents treated me, what I had done, where I had lived. They actually asked me, "Can't you stay?" And I said, "Well,
Oh,
I have, I have a, I have a, I have a contract with I'm renting an apartment. I have a leasing contract. I have a car payment. I have a job to go back to. I had taken my vacation to visit them, and so, but we still keep in touch. We're still a family, and it was challenging. I was fluent enough to go, but I've gotten better, of course. I've been able to translate materials, been able to translate simultaneously. I can speak it fluently now, fluently enough to be able to share with them. And actually, Nicole, the following year after I visited my family, so back in 1998, in 1999, and 2000, I was fluent enough to become a medical
you said you were fluid enough. I think you paused a little bit. Are you still with us? Okay, so I see that Daryl has a question, so we'll definitely make sure that we get your question asked once Blanca is back with us. Looks like she's having some technical difficulties, and that's what happens with electronics and when we have all of this electrical in our society nowadays. So it's a few minutes early from our break, but make sure that you guys post your comments and questions. We love for this to be an interactive opportunity so that you can get your questions asked. And up, you're back. You're back. You're
Yes.
back. So Elder Tamara says, "Hey Queens, hi Elder Tamara. We're so glad you joined us tonight." And Daryl has a question for you. She says, "For a wise old 50," and I wouldn't say anything is old about Daryl at all. If you see her, you would not think she's 50. Person like me. She said, "What resources do you recommend to learn a new language?"
Well, Daryl, thank you for your question, first of all. And I'm in that club too. I just turned 50 last month. So I definitely
And you
would
don't
not.
look like you're 50 either.
So I definitely uh, echo that 50 is definitely, I believe that's a prime number. And what I would suggest is for those who want to learn a new language, any language. I don't exclusively suggest Spanish. It could be French or German, but any language. Is to first begin training your ear. It's so important to train your ear. That means that you want to. There's so many resources now than back then when it was 1990 something, right? You could always just start with a commercial. Just look up a French commercial. Maybe they're talking about coffee printers. I don't know, the latest gadget. Start out small. Listen to it just listen. And then you're not translating, not trying to understand it. Train your ear and then listen to it again, maybe, but before the end of the day. And then what you do is you increment. You start 2 minute, maybe commercial, sometimes 30 seconds. Then you increment for 2 minutes. And then you get up to 5 minutes and you can think of a theme. Maybe you like cooking. So maybe a cooking show in Spanish. And they're talking and you're just watching, listening, because first you have to train your ear. After you're training your ear, it becomes familiar. When something becomes familiar, then you're able to maybe have a tutor or maybe have some books that can, or a CD or audiobook that can actually be able to guide you. So first you need to train your ear, then have some resource to guide you, whether it's a person, a book, an audio, to guide you into a theme. Um, and eventually you're going to need a tutor. I don't suggest, by the way, and this is not at all to say that they don't work or I don't recommend, but any program that you purchase for hundreds of dollars, unless you have a tutor, it really is just going to be background noise. So you want to train your ear, incrementally increase, and then get a support system behind you. Start making friends. Shop in a store. Just go to a store that is, if it's a local store where there's products sold in that language that's spoken, you can just buy, I don't know, just buy 2 or 3 items. You're going to get conversations and that becomes background noise when you're training your ear for a new language, becomes the inside kind of the inside a platform. It's like a platform that you can use that so I would definitely not discourage anyone. My oldest student, Ruth Toomer, 85 years old.
Wow.
85. You know what she said, Nicole, and those who are listening? She said to me, maybe I won't become fluent, but all I want to know is enough to let my neighbor know that I care. I'm their neighbor, and if they ever need me, here's my number. That's all she wanted to learn. So also, how much do you want to learn? How much do you want to use it? And if this is something long term. But I
Right.
would 2 minutes becomes 10 minutes, or 30 seconds becomes 2 minutes, 2 minutes becomes 10 minutes, and then get a resource, a tutor or a resource. But I would not recommend, when you're first learning, spending hundreds of dollars to learn a language that you can you can get audios for to train your ear. Train first your ear.
Well, Daryl says, she says, got it. I'm determined to learn Spanish. She also
Okay,
says, she said, I can call Spanish speaking friends too and speak only Spanish. So
wonderful. And
that
I
is awesome. And Blanca is a tutor. So she does, she is available to hire to help with your Spanish speaking needs. So.
definitely. And
Well, we're going to stop right there and we're going to go to commercial and then we're going to be back. So make sure that you keep it locked right here to Empowered Women in Business International Radio. Empowered Women in Business International. We serve a sisterhood of women entrepreneurs and professionals who understand that individually we could do great things, but collectively we can forever change the world. Members of our movement experience a support system that allows them to celebrate their wins and share their struggles in a series of opportunities that enhance them personally and professionally. If that sounds like an organization that you would like to be a part of, visit our website at www.ewbiradio.org. Are you a small business or even a person that's just thinking about starting a business? Well, this organization is right for you. We offer micro grants and we even highlight our members on our radio show, EWBI Radio, which airs on Elevate Your Life Talk Radio every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Tune in. Welcome back. So we have a few more commercials that we're going to go over. The first one is Jeans and Dreams. Jeans and Dreams. So Daryl Inspires presents Jeans and Dreams annual vision board brunch. It's Sunday, November 7th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The studio, 1718 Belmont Avenue, Suite B, Windsor Mill, Maryland, 21244. And the link is listed for you. And Daryl, if you're still on here, please post that link in our comment section so that our viewers can join. But I am so looking forward to this. I spoke to Daryl not too long ago, and she was sharing with me that we're going to be working on some short-term goals. So your goals from now till maybe like 90 days. And it's so important for us to set those goals for ourselves to give us that marker of where we're going. If we need to make a short detour, or just to make sure that we're going in that right path. So make sure that you join us because I will be there. I'm going to get my ticket Sunday, November 7th, 11 to 2 for Jeans and Dreams. I like that. Jeans and Dreams. That's catchy. Next up, we have Empowered to Stand Health Services Fall Festival. So Empowered to Stand Health Services is having a fall festival. We're going to have face painting, vendors, resources, music, fun, and more. We're also going to be collecting coats, hats, gloves, and can and box goods for distribution for the holidays. So, and we'll be collecting the canned and box food up until November 16th for our Thanksgiving baskets that we're going to make. So, if you would like to be a blessing to someone, you can come have a good time and drop off some great things and know that they're going to get into the right hands of people who truly need them. So, we had our first resource and vendor fair not too long ago, and it was amazing. Excuse me, it was well attended, and we just had a wonderful time. So I'm sure we're going to have a great time again. So make sure you mark your calendars for November 6th, Saturday. from 1 to 4, and it's right here at 8110 Harford Road, Suite B, Parkville, Maryland, 21234. If you have any questions, you can give us a call at 443-733-3911 or send us an email at empoweredtostandhs@gmail.com. Please note that the entrance is in the back of the building. So you'll see a barber shop in the front, and we are located in the back, but we will have some great vendors and resources and music, entertainment, and just a good old time. So right before it gets too cold, come on out and join us for that. Last but not least, Empowering Minds of Maryland's Youth hosted a suitcase drive on October the 10th, and we are still collecting suitcases or donations. So we have three different foster care agencies that we're going to bless with suitcases this year, and we want to make sure that each child gets a brand new suitcase. Some people even filled their suitcases up with toiletries, which I thought was extra nice. But Empowering Minds of Maryland's Youth, we partnered with Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation. Um, and we had a suitcase drive, as I mentioned, and the suitcase drive was in a memory of Dolores Hanson and Edna Mae Ford. Um, if you have a suitcase that you would like to drop off, you can give us a call. Again, the number is 443-733-3911. And we would be happy to schedule a drop off. The drop off will be the same location, 8110 Harford Road, Suite B, Parkville, Maryland, 21234. And so some of you might be saying, well, why a suitcase drive? Why a suitcase drive? So the children that we help to benefit typically go from home to home with their items in a trash bag. Um, and we are allowing a message to go to those youth that their items are trash. And Empowering Minds of Maryland's Youth, we want to dispel that message and be able to give them a brand new suitcase, something that they can call their own. It's already a traumatic experience of them going to a new home, not knowing whose house they're going to, what their room will look like, if they'll have a roommate. So many questions up in the air. And we just want to be a blessing to give them that small little sense of security. So and you want to take pride in your things. Once you have something nice to put your things in, they probably start to fold their things a little neater and take care of their things a little different. So it's just a blessing to be a blessing. This is an opportunity for you to do so. If you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to give us a call, 443-733-3911. 443-733-3911. And that concludes our commercials. And so we're going to go back to interviewing Miss Blanca. You have such an amazing story, and you are such a powerhouse within your own rights. For all that you do for our community and for the children that you work with and the adults, giving them that opportunity to learn another language, or even helping them to just read and understand and be able to be proficient within the language of that they were born. So I truly thank you for that. That's amazing. Your work at AmeriCorps. So for some people, AmeriCorps Vista, they might not know what that is. Do you want to just share a little bit about, you started to talk about it a little bit, but do you want to share a little more
Sure.
about AmeriCorps Vista?
Sure. And before I begin, I just wanted the teacher in me wants to teach you your first phrase, which is one of the most important two words that you will ever speak in any language. So this is dedicated to Miss Darrell, and the words are yo puedo. Think of the person's name who you may know, Joe,
Mhm.
Joe, and then puedo. Yo puedo,
Joe Puedo.
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 That's right. Yo puedo.
Joe Puedo.
And that means I can.
Mm.
I can. So that is
All right.
dedicated to Miss Daryl. So yo puedo. And that is the first two words I teach when someone is learning Spanish. They said, but I only know hola. And I said, it's okay. That's all that you know now. But now you're about to learn the most important two words you'll ever learn in any language, and that is I can. And I start out with yo puedo. And they said, yo puedo? And I said, yes, yo puedo. Say it like you mean it. Yo puedo.
Wow. And Daryl says, yes, Queen.
Yes. And so a little bit about AmeriCorps Vista. AmeriCorps Vista started in the 1960s, and just as the acronym means, we are volunteers in service to America. And so I know a nonprofit in Southeast Baltimore who I volunteered for, and they were looking to have a program coordinator who can recruit volunteers to dedicate 90 minutes per week to teach a local school student to read proficiently and to have math skills. Also, to mentor them, to be that non related adult that can bring some value into their life. Support. Maybe they support even the parents. Maybe their parents are working and there is no aftercare resource. Maybe they are in aftercare. They need that extra support. So we are in Southeast Baltimore. The nonprofit is in Southeast Baltimore. And so I coordinate for the school John Rura, which is in Greektown. There's also a local school near the office by the name of Highlandtown 215. But we're open for any student. If they can come to our office, they can register. They would be lined up with one-on-one tutor. We have a few tutors ready. We have a few tutors in progress, and we would love to have more tutors, obviously. And there's some requirements. When we're working with children, there is fingerprinting and background required. We also have vaccination requirements because you're going to be working again in close proximity with others. So we want to make sure that we provide a safe, caring, productive 90 minutes of time that are the one-on-one that could make the difference in that individual if they would be more motivated to do their schoolwork, or maybe they would go back to school the next day and saying, wow, yo puedo, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And so that is what we're trying to instill as AmeriCorps Vista. I am the position is funded by the federal government. I get a stipend. AmeriCorps Vista throughout the nation serve in capacity. Some move. I just happen to be living in the same neighborhood that I work in. Some travel to other areas in the United States. But all of us are volunteer in service to America, get a stipend. That way we can support ourselves. I have a family, and that's why I supplement by teaching and tutoring. And I also work at a retail store during the weekends because there is a need, obviously, in our own home for some of the medical and there's some things that are needed. And so, but my primary ability, again, going back to the time and the talent and the treasure, is teaching. Even at the retail store, they said we're desperately in need of a bilingual person because our customers, sometimes we want to say something and we can't. So it's a small retail store. Actually, excuse me, it's not a small retail store. It's a national retail store, but it's a short drive and it's a small family kind of atmosphere to work in. And I get to see neighbors that I live with and see from school or work. I just saw today someone whose child I taught. And when I was in school teaching, I was teaching their son. And so it's great to have, again, I think we talked about it, Nicole, before. There's no connection like having become a Vista, meeting someone, meeting you, even with the listeners. I don't believe in disconnects. I only have connections that can strengthen communities. That's what I think of. I don't think of dislocation, disconnect, and disengagement. I think, what do I have? What can I offer? How can I work with others? How can we make it better? That's my
That's
only
right.
primary goal. There isn't,
And that's amazing. And
yes,
we were talking earlier, and I said, no amount of money can, replace the fulfillment that I'm sure that you feel once you've been able to help another child or an adult learn to be bilingual or learn how to be proficient. It's truly a blessing to be a blessing. And as a matter of fact, Daryl says, "Oh my goodness, I'm so blessed to hear you tonight, Blanca." Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? So, Blanca, we talked about a lot tonight. Did we miss anything? Is there anything in particular that you want to share with our listeners this evening?
Well, I want to encourage everyone who's listened how wonderful it is to make a connection with someone that you can make an impact on. But remember, that individual is also making an impact on you. So, to be mutually benefited, mutually strengthened, and as the Word of God tells us to, we are to stimulate one another for the works that God already prepared for us to do. So I believe that's what we've done. We have stimulated one another to do works, greater works, and works that really matter, count, are valued, are appreciated, because they really are diverse in nature. You have a talent, Nicole. You're not just a beautiful person inside and out, but you have a business, a passion, a direction, and a focus. And we're just allowing other people to share what that is and how we can align one another. And so,
Mm.
if anyone would want to contact me, if you would like to have my email or my personal number, I will welcome any opportunity. This is not obviously a solicitation call. I am not asking anyone to consider anything, but if there's anything that you would like to further either share or maybe you want some little information about, I would certainly make myself available.
Do you want to share your number and ways to
Yes.
connect?
My email is blancatapa@yahoo.com, and my personal cell number is 443-531-9082.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And did you want us to share that in the comments?
Welcome to, sure.
Maybe. Okay. Um, I think Crystal may have to do that. I don't think it's going to let
Oh,
me.
no problem.
So I'm sure she'll take care of that,
No problem.
sharing that information. It's in the private chat, Crystal. But listen, it's been amazing. Like your story is so amazing. I'm sure that it inspires so many, especially women. We go through so much. We wear so many hats, and sometimes when we have to find that way to kind of balance our time, here you have two jobs. You're an entrepreneur. Oh, you have
Four.
four jobs. Wait a minute, I missed one. So I know you said the store. I
Yes.
know you work for AmeriCorp, and then you have your business.
Yes.
What's the
The,
fourth one?
the fourth one is I have been contracted to work at my novel tutoring program, which is called Tutor Time Saturday. And so I am teaching children to read and write and be proficient in English on Saturdays. And I will do that from October all the way till December 18th.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So Elder Tamara Hawkins says, "Thank you so much for your service."
You're
So
welcome.
many people can just hear, through your story and your message, how you help to serve people, whether it's, related to you working full time. Like I can just see you in the store, even being of service, like beyond the service that you would give for the store. And that really warms my heart. So I truly thank you. Thank you, Crystal, for posting the information in the chat. So if anybody would like to get in contact with Blanca, they can do so at BlancaTapa@yahoo.com, or her phone number is 443-531-9082. Thank you so much for coming on here, Blanca. You are amazing. I can't wait for us to get together and make some more things, some more magic happen for you and your business. So I really look forward to that. Last but not least, there's one other thing. Your acronym. Do you want to tell us about your acronym?
Definitely. So I have a friend whose name is Kimberly Kamau. I met her before she married. She married a beautiful man from Kenya. His name was Kamau. When you marry in Kenya, you actually take your husband's first name. His first name is Kamau, so your name becomes Kimberly Kamau. And she is
Wow.
a beautiful person. She's serving as a missionary in Kenya. And so she speaks Swahili. She has two children. And so knowing not that I am learning Swahili, but I do know a little couple of words because she sends her newsletters. So Simba actually means lion or lioness. And so I have made that my moniker or nickname, Simba, SIMBA. And when it comes to community, when it comes to education, it's Simba, simply in my bones.
Awesome. Simply in my bones. So we're going to end on that note. Again, Blanca, thank you so much for coming on the show this evening. It truly was a pleasure. We'll have to have you back so that we can hear, a little bit about how you have grown since you've been on the show. But it's been truly a pleasure. Thank you so much. And to our guests and listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, especially my EWBI sisters. Shout out to you guys. I see you guys commenting and being on here for me, and I truly appreciate that. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to keep it locked here every Tuesday at Empower Women in Business International. Don't forget to visit EWBI's website, www.ewbiradio.org. Check out our social media page. We can be found on Facebook as Empower Women in Business International, at Instagram, and on YouTube. So you can even watch our shows on YouTube, or you can go to our website and tune into our shows as well. If you are seeking a service or product, check out our online members directory. It has listed our members and the services or products that they offer. And we have a little bit of everything for everyone from weight loss to jewelry to chemical free sanitary napkins. So we have a little bit of everything for everyone. We have some nonprofits on there that service youth. So just a little bit of anything that you're looking for, you can go visit our online members directory. So don't forget to visit us on the web, www.ewbiradio.org, and tune in every Tuesday, 7 p.m. here on EWBI Radio Show on Elevate Your Life Talk Radio station. And we'll close as we always do. Individually, we can do great things, but collectively, we can forever change the world by Nick Mosby. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you next Tuesday right here on Empowered Women in Business International Radio Show.